With Pain coming onto the scene now having power enough to defeat Jiraiya, Naruto Sensei forcing Naruto to go into training to be able to acquire that same power that surpasses his previous master, a Sannin, and being so powerful that he was presented in a class of his own versus his father as a Jonin being so strong just off of the things that he did in the war. He was able to amass his name to be able to have a flee on sight order, and not only a flee on sight order but be able to receive the 4th Hokage title. But who would win, Sage Mode Naruto or Jonin Minato? Before we get into the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Shooting for 5K, let's get it. With the 3rd grade ninja war claiming many lies and forcing many children to be graduating from the academy early, like Kakashi being the youngest graduate in history, being placed on potentially the strongest man in Konoha at the time, Minato Namikaze. Due to his danger, he gained the nickname the Yellow Flash of Leaf because, like it says in the data books, once activating the flying Rasengan techniques, it was almost like a flash of lightning, and if you saw Minato, you were set to flee on sight due to this ability. For if you got marked by Minato's tag, he could pretty much teleport at any time, anywhere, right there with you with a kunai to your throat. He was so dangerous and fast that it was said in the data books that even veteran shinobi trembled at just the sound of his name, or that he even defeats enemies in an instant using phenomenal speed and was seen as the hero of Konoha, killing enemies in an instant. And this wasn't the only thing that we saw from Jonin Minato being able to take on the 4th Hokage, with the 4th Hokage going full speed and still could not catch Minato. Now obviously this was before, you know, we saw him in the Naruto Shippuden, so he definitely could have got stronger from that point. But to this time, was seen as the fastest shinobi, and in the data book saying his speed was not inferior to Minato's speed also, and Minato was still able to blow past him and be able to outspeed him, and in the process was also able to break in half the 8 tails tentacle from Killer B as well, and also mark Killer B simultaneously while doing this in the process. Jonin Minato was also seen as a comparable to somebody like Fugaku, with us knowing that Fugaku, stated by Danzo, was supposed to be a rare talented genius. And this is elaborated on in Itachi's Daylight novel, with subordinates under Fugaku saying that in all the people that was being praised for the 3rd Great Ninja War or for their actions that were exhibited in the 3rd Great Ninja War, Fugaku should have been among those praises, with people like Kakashi and the Sannin being praised but Fugaku not being praised, or even Fugaku's name being mentioned up with people like Minato or Orochimaru being mentioned up, but Fugaku should have been in the conversation or even should have been picked as Hokage, with even somebody like Fugaku giving a nickname as well, being that of the Wicked Eye Fugaku, just off of his sheer prowess with the Sharingan and the mastery of over his fire style, being the top leader of the Uchiha clan and potentially also one of the strongest people in the village, with also having the rare power to control the Nine Tails, fearing Danzo so much that he literally kept the strongest clan from intervening with the Nine Tails attack over this fear of him potentially being able to control the Nine Tails. And this puts Fugaku in a rare category with people like Madara and Obito, who just offer their prowess when it comes to the Sharingan, was able to control the Nine Tails, with Hokage Minato thinking that Obito was Madara just off of this ability alone. In majority of the Daylight novels, we saw that a Fugaku was seen as being on the same caliber as Itachi with his Mangekyo Sharingan, or outright being stronger than him, given that with just his base Sharingan, Itachi looked his head down just off of the worryings of seeing Fugaku's Sharingan after he was able to body the top members of the Uchiha clan, with these 2 top members trying to intervene for Fugaku talking with Itachi. Fugaku yelled with a very menacing and serious tone, saying he's talking to his son with his Sharingan, with that main top branch member of the Uchiha clan sitting down trembling just off of the sheer pressure and off of the sheer look from just base Sharingan Fugaku. And this is even more further seen with him even contemplating what he should do, with knowing that Itachi has chosen the village over the Uchiha clan, knowing that the asset of having Itachi is one of the make or break things that the Uchiha needs to overthrow the village, but also knowing that was he wrong for forcing his son to pretty much bow down to him, showing that Fugaku, if need be, with just base Sharingan is a possible equal to base Sharingan as well, with Fugaku also having the Mangekyo Sharingan that could potentially rival or even be over this Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan as well. But with Itachi also growing up and getting more stronger and eventually amassing the Mangekyo Sharingan ability unbeknownst to Fugaku, But before this, Fugaku being proud of Itachi be also showing some sense of jealousy as a warrior or a ninja, seeing that his son over the course of time is slowly slipping away from him due to power, with him pretty much doing things that Fugaku didn't do, like becoming an Anbu at just the youngest age, or a captain as well, or even being able to solo the Chunin exams and many other things. And we even see that this Itachi was even very adamant that he'll be able to kill Obito, somebody that a Hokage Minato beat, and this was a younger Obito as well that the Hokage Minato was able to pretty much neg. But this is a older Obito that's most likely been getting stronger and also been learning the fashions of his Mangekyo Sharingan or his 3-Tomoe Sharingan abilities either way. And this Itachi, a younger one at that, was pretty adamant that he would be able to kill Obito. And Fugaku is seen as a direct relative, or being at least on the same caliber as this Itachi as well. And with Itachi right after the massacre joining the Akatsuki, being able to neg a Orochimaru, the other person that was put up for the 4th Hokage position, with just his base Sharingan. And with Minato being, you know, on this same caliber of Fugaku, with them being seen as the same type of legends within the village, with Minato's effort of killing 50 shinobi by himself single-handedly being the main driving force of a treaty being formed between villages, with the 3rd Hokage having to step down to be able to make this treaty be more sensible, with Minato being the one to take up off of, you know, having one of the biggest names made in the Third Great Ninja War. Made sense that Minato would also be one of the main people that would take over the sitting of Hokage before anybody else in the village, but with Fugaku being the one that could potentially take it also if his name was offered up. Sage Mode Naruto eventually going into the battle with Pain, now acquiring power that surpasses his previous masters, stated on numerous occasions, with Lord Fukusaku saying that Naruto has surpassed his ancestors or his predecessors, or Naruto has surpassed Jiraiya when it comes to Sage Mode as well during the training of Sage Mode. With the Naruto arriving on the battlefield with Tsunade before going into a coma, looked and saw Jiraiya and Minato on the side, with this being a nod to potentially Naruto finally surpassing Jiraiya and more looking like his father when it comes to being the savior of the Leaf Village, or potentially putting him in the realm of the same power that they pose, with Sage Mode Naruto even being stated by Shikaku that he's in a class of his own. And this is pretty much proven with Kakashi, the strongest ninja in the village, also being able to fight the Deva path but not being able to beat him with the help of Choji and Choja. But Naruto by himself in Sage Mode was able to outbox the Deva path and also be able to defeat all the Pains as well, with being nerfed as well, with the Sage Mode only having 5 minutes, with him not being able to have mind paw on his shoulder like Jiraiya, who could be in Sage Mode indefinitely, but Naruto still able to be able to take out majority of the Pains, albeit he did have intel with Pain being kind of nerfed for like a portion of the fight, with him not having his abilities because of him performing the big Shinra Tensei that he did on the village. But still, Naruto coming to the fight with more powerful juices like the Rasengan, a stronger and more amped up version than the original one that we saw, with the original Rasengan being stated to destroy your body on a cellular level so fast that even the Sharingan can't track it, and quite literally cuts your chakra network in half, with Naruto having more stronger one that can literally be thrown and its span being able to one-shot a path of pain. With his newly strength being so amped, with just one punch he was able to kill or knock out a Pain, but it kind of looks like he killed him, given that Naruto even stated that he already took out that one, meaning that he probably put all his strength into that one punch to deliver a death blow. But with Jiraiya, you know, coming into the battle against Pain, kicking a Pain, and that Pain being able to, you know, seemingly get up, could show that Naruto's base stats have also risen past that previously Sage Mode Jiraiya. We even see later with the Sage Mode clone was able to have sensory capabilities strong enough to be able to get out of the way of a 3rd Hokage rushing him with the strongest attack, the finger thrusting spear, and Naruto was able to perceive this and even dodge the extended chakra cloak that surrounds his finger, and even be able to slowly put in attack that was able to break through the chakra cloak of the Hokage and then go into the body of the Hokage by pushing his hand into that set scar that was able to defeat the 3rd Hokage. We later see that Naruto was also able to fight the Nine Tails, albeit the half Nine Tails, and be able to force the Nine Tails to be able to submit and to allow Naruto to get his chakra, albeit he was being restrained by Kushina. But with this feat going on, the Nine Tails stated verbatim while Naruto was hitting him with the flurry of attacks, also following up with a Rasengan, asked what power is this, nodding to Naruto's new Sage Mode power being amped by the backing of his mother that he just met, but also being able to fight the half of the Nine Tails. Someone stated to adjust his chakra, and the ominous of it could turn the world to ash, at least a portion that was inside Naruto. And something I want to interject now that I didn't interject earlier was that way back when Kakashi was a kid, he was seen as the top foremost Jonin of the village, obviously being below somebody like Minato as a Jonin. But this Kakashi was able to take on the Deva Path of Pain by himself before Choji and Choji showed up, would most likely be stronger than that kid Kakashi, obviously with him after the time skip being quoted by Naruto being as strong as ever, with being some of the most smartest when it comes to his intelligence, or having the keenest Sharingan, or having the best taijutsu over somebody like Rock Lee. So this Kakashi that was able to take on the Deva Path would obviously be stronger than the kid Kakashi that was still promoted to a Jonin and being seen as the top foremost in the village, with this Kakashi being solidified as the strongest in the village, or at least right on par, or literally neck and neck with like a 7th grade guy, but still with his combo and all his Shidori abilities in the midst, or his Raikiri abilities in the midst, and be just overall a more skilled than guy, would be seen as the strongest in the village, and yet still couldn't take down the Deva Path. And even said in his mind, it was crazy that Jiraiya was able to take on 5, but Naruto coming with his new Sage Mode powers was able to take on all of them as well, and even be able to overpower the Deva Path as well. So with Naruto with Sage Mode power, from what we've seen exhibited, would have enough power to be able to defeat Minato with all the things that we've seen over the course of the series before he got his KCM forms. With this caliber of power, yes, Naruto has most likely closed the bridge of reaching to his father, but he is not there when it comes to just overall speed and overall IQ, and just quite frankly every other fashion, other than maybe attack power with him having a new Rasengan that could be potentially surpassing the base Rasengan that Minato has. But that's a big if, given that just Minato's base Rasengan, after newly being created, was able to clash with a Tail Beast Bomb, albeit being nerfed by Kushina, but Minato is also nerfed being in the mental space of Kushina, and also having a hand through his outlived body, with Kushina being like the 7-tail state, and Minato was still able to slam a newly fresh Rasengan that he just learned a couple panels prior into this Tail Beast Bomb from the full 9 tails also. Now I'm an advocate that this feat does not directly correlate Minato's Rasengan being equal to a Tail Beast Bomb, but being able to collide a force that has the power to be able to collide with the other Biju. And obviously, like I said, this 9 tails was restrained, but we see later in the war that 9 tails, just half of it, was able to collide with the other Tail Beast besides Gyuki and be able to equal out that force. And Minato, with just his Rasengan that was newly made, was able to collide with the full one. And even if you don't scale this feat to being equal to that occurring power, it is definitely strong enough to be able to collide with it and at least be able to cancel it out. Now I do believe that Naruto has the edge when it comes from a physicality type of sense, when it comes to his durability and strength. If he does end up grabbing Minato, or if Minato tries to hit him with like a base kunai, I don't believe that that would be enough force to take out Naruto, given that Naruto was able to break a rod from Pain when he entered into Sage Mode and was able to overpower Pain directly. So I do believe that Minato would not be over Naruto when it comes to those specific stats, but we do know that Naruto not having the speed when it comes to being able to fight Minato directly, I don't think that Minato would get hit by a direct punch from Naruto, at least not a physical Naruto trying to punch Minato direct punch. And sticking with the limit of the 5 minutes on Sage Mode, if Naruto didn't finish Minato pretty quick, the battle would pretty much be over, especially with him pretty much exhausting his power quicker if he used the Rasen Shurikens over the time. And if Naruto doesn't have clones prepared behind these scenes, he would pretty much be cooked once that runs out anyway. And not only that, if he did have clones behind the scenes, this will also nerf his power with him having 2 clones gathering the Sage Mode, with him having his chakra already split, focusing on gathering Sage Mode, with Naruto also being in this fight not being able to use the capabilities of Sage Mode to its fullest extent. With we seen him fighting Pain, he was only able to make a couple of clones here and there while in Sage Mode, but when he fought the 9 tails, not having clones being gathered in Sage Mode, he was able to be able to make way more Rasengan, have all his clones in Sage Mode, and etc, so he wasn't latched down by his chakra being split or divided. Not only that, if Minato touches Naruto, which he definitely would, if you don't think he would, that would just be not the case, because Hokage was directly referring to the time that Minato was able to blip past his speed in the 3rd grade ninja war, with that KCM1 Naruto not being able to do it until he was mentally amped by wanting to be a savior, with Hokage after that literally saying that the 4th Hokage, or Minato during a Jonin, was the only person to be able to surpass that speed, with us literally seeing flashbacks to this this time when this was achieved with that Jonin Minato. And I don't think there's any room for debate for KCM1 not being faster than Sage Mode Naruto, when Naruto was surprised that Raikage could even keep up with that speed, with Naruto knowing that he has Sage Mode and the implications of how far Sage Mode pushes his abilities, but still surprised that Raikage can keep up with that speed. And with Naruto literally doing another feat before this, with him being able to blitz the Kisame that was trapped in Samehara, with Killer Bee literally correlating Naruto's speed to that of the Yellow Flash. And there was no other statement that we ever saw from Naruto when it comes to Sage Mode that ever gave that symbolizing of speed. And we do know that Minato also does use body flicker, not necessarily using the flying Raijin or teleportation outright, but body flicker that every ninja that can use, that can pretty much amp their speed to the fastest limit. We see it when Minato was able to use it to intercept Kakashi going against the Jonin, when Kakashi tried to use his Chidori. And we even see it a little bit later after him becoming a Jonin, but just proving that he does use body flicker to get around when he was able to catch baby Naruto from getting stabbed by Obito. But we do know that he does use body flicker, so his base speed from just body flicker would be fast enough to be able to move around the battlefield, but him being amped with his flying Raijin is obviously the main thing that he uses. But one of the pressing things that may allude to Naruto and Sage Mode having faster reaction or speed than KCM1 is when he was fighting the third Raikage, and he said that this speed is faster, or his reaction is faster, but this could be alluding to him being in base mode, because we saw that KCM1 had run out when he tried to use the Tail Beast Bomb, and Naruto literally could not go back into that mode during the rest of the time he was there on that battlefront, even during the fight against Madara, with Tomari saying going to KCM1 mode instead of going into Sage Mode or being in his base, and Naruto said he can't use it right now. So I don't believe that Naruto is referring to Sage Mode being faster than KCM1, and it just wouldn't make sense at all correlating with the story. Like I said previously, the whole time Naruto had Sage Mode, nobody's ever alluded to Naruto being fast as the fourth Raikage. So we know that KCM would be faster than what Sage Mode can do, and it would be most likely impaired that Minato would have his kunais all around the battlefield. So even if Minato didn't touch Naruto on the first initial grab, he would most likely end up doing it later in the fight. And the only thing that Naruto really would have in this battle here is potentially his attack power when it comes to his Rasengan, with his Rasen Shuriken being pretty dangerous if it does hit Minato. And that's a really big if. And I doubt that the Rasen Shuriken would be able to hit Minato dead on, but you do have a possibility of it being able to expand and catch Minato off guard. But Minato seeing a big, large projectile coming towards him, I do believe that he will probably teleport to the multiple kunais that he will have around the battlefield. And Minato would just be overall too fast for Sage Mode Naruto to be able to react to, given that Minato was about to one-shot a Raikage that we saw in the panel when they had their encounter before Killer Bee ended up jumping in and saving, because Minato was able to get out of the way of the Raikage's fastest attack, and then also be able to get right behind that Raikage with the kunai before Killer Bee could jump in and save before the Raikage even react to it. Going off of that, we can see that Minato was not only faster than Raikage, but also was just overall more faster when it comes to his teleportation ninjutsu and reaction speed to be able to get behind the Raikage. Raikage was still recovering from him dodging his fastest attack. So in this battle, Naruto and Sage Mode would definitely be close, but going against the things that we see, like with the 5-minute limiter, with Minato being too fast for Naruto to have anything to be able to get a hit on Minato, with potentially Naruto getting close enough to Minato and probably hitting him with like an invisible attack that we saw against the Pain. But that's assuming that Minato decides to charge Naruto and not just use a kunai and throw it and be able to teleport into his time space and end up appearing around Naruto. And I doubt that Minato would charge head on into the fight with Naruto, given that in every battle that we've seen, we never seen him pretty much charge head on trying to fight somebody taijutsu to taijutsu. We've seen it most of the time be with him using his kunai in successions with his flying Raijin. But Naruto does have some cases that could win, like with the Rasen Shuriken hitting, or him being able to potentially catch Minato off guard with an invisible attack that could potentially knock Minato out, but that's a big if. Most of the time I'm definitely giving it to Jonin Minato, but there is some cases or wiggle room that Naruto could sneak in a dub. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. Check out my other content as well, and comment down any suggestions or videos you want to see in the comments below. Love you all. Stay blessed. We out.